Thank you for joining the Friends I View Spoilers. This is Shaun with my buddy Jose.
Hello, hello.
I told you last night, Jose, I apologize to you because, we're brothers, we're business partners. We write screenplays together. And you were just talking up this movie from 2016. Like I was going to absolutely love it. And then after I watched it, I come to determine I'm probably going to shit on it. Actually, I am going to shit on it.
Okay.
And so I wanted to apologize beforehand.
Well, we're gonna sometimes have differences of opinion, so I understand that. So okay, no problem.
So before we start, how do you rate The Accountant 2016 starring Ben Affleck?
Because sometimes I just thoroughly enjoy a movie just on entertainment value alone. Whether I would see it again, whether I found it to be engaging for me as I'm watching it. So I have to score The Accountant a solid 7.
All right, so
which obviously you disagree. That's okay. It's all right.
Well, I think the fact that I'm a screenwriter,
Sure.
and as you know, both of us are rising to world-renowned screenwriter status in the future.
Yes.
Because I write screenplays and because I understand the dynamics, and I mean, you've read my screenplays.
Yes.
So I think when I look at movies, I think I start really diving into it on the level of not only enjoyment, but on and the overall story.
Okay.
So I think that kind of jades it for me because I'm giving this a 5. Is what I'm giving this a.
Really? Wow. Okay.
It's not a shit show, so it doesn't get a 4 or below.
Okay.
If I was scrolling through Netflix or if I was scrolling through TV, I might watch this. A 6 would mean that I'd probably watch it. So this is not even getting I'll probably watch it. It's good now. I might watch it. And for me, 7 is when it's a good movie. Yeah, because a good movie for me
in my eyes. Yep.
Because 7 is when I would actually pay money specifically to see it.
Okay. And I would.
And there's no way in hell I would pay to see this movie. But and see the challenge with the story for me was not necessarily the story itself, because there were problematic areas which we will talk about.
Okay.
I think a lot of my problems with it stemmed from how it was organized and structured.
Okay.
I think that's where a lot of my challenges come from. Like I said, we're going to go through those.
Sure.
But I think if they would have just structured it better, I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
Okay.
I think it would have rated higher because it had really great cast.
Yes.
Had really great directors. It had great, it had money thrown at it. I mean, its budget was, I think, like $40 million to make it.
Okay.
I mean, it had money, had all the necessary things to make you go, this could be a really good thriller movie.
Okay.
But there was, like I just said, I think there was some problematic areas with the structure.
I cannot wait to hear that.
Obviously, there were certain things that I think went a little too far out of the realm of possibility.
Okay.
Because I know I've talked about it even when we're going over screenplays that I write, is that there's 2 types of movies. There's documentaries and then there are fiction.
Yes.
So unless it's a documentary, it's a fiction. And since we're making this crap up, you want to try to get it as close to reality as possible. You just can't really get it absolute like reality, because if you got it to absolute reality, every movie would be done in 15 minutes.
Okay. Yes, I remember you saying that. Okay.
And but you try to get it as believable as you can.
Okay.
And that's really the big thing is it as believable as it can be?
You obviously don't think so. So what didn't make it believable in your eyes?
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about the challenges in a second.
Okay. I'm just anxious.
You had your protagonist, which was Christian Wolf.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck. Yeah, the antagonist who, like, it was just a weird antagonist for me. The Ray King.
Okay.
It was just a weird antagonist for me. Because the problem that I was trying to come up with was, what was the problem that Christian Wolf was trying to solve, okay? Because typically speaking, in a movie, the protagonist goes against the antagonist, you know?
Okay.
There's a theme. So I'm assuming that the theme is good versus evil, but it really kind of got lost to me as how he is good and how the other guy is evil, you know? So the
Who is good?
Huh?
Who is good?
Well, the protagonist is usually meant to be the good person.
Okay.
And
you didn't see at all in that movie he was good.
I'm going to explain that in the challenge.
Okay. Okay.
You know.
Gotcha. Okay.
The inciting event was very obvious. He takes the accounting job at Living Robotics.
Okay.
And then the midpoint was kind of a nice one. And I don't think that and this will go into my challenges we're going to talk about.
Okay.
But they didn't play with this one enough, okay? But he decided to go back and save Dana Cummings,
which he normally does not do.
But like I said, that whole little dynamic, the potential that was there, they saw the potential there, and they were like, "We could do something with this subplot, but we're not going to at all." Which, like, we're going to talk about this in the challenges, but they just there was a wide berth of opportunity there. They just said, "Fuck it, we're not going to do it." No, we're going to talk about this in challenges.
Okay.
I promise you, I will not disappoint you.
Okay.
The climax. The climax is typically a fight between the protagonist and the antagonist.
Okay.
Which it really wasn't for this movie. And the climax, he fought against his brother.
Which you probably did not see coming. Okay.
Which, yeah, that was a blind side that I did not see coming.
Okay.
But that was a good blind side. They've done some things in here that were horrific blindsiding.
Okay.
Because the difference between good blindsiding and bad blindsiding, right?
Okay.
So you remember Sixth Sense, right?
Yes, I do.
Well, he was dead the whole fucking movie, but nobody knew he was dead.
Exactly. Yeah.
Till the end, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they found out he was dead all along, and it just blew your mind. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because you thought he was alive this whole fucking time, and he's just been dead. And they made it so realistic, like where you believe he was alive.
Yeah.
That is a good blind sight. Like what they did here, where they just like, okay, this is his brother. Okay, that was a good blind sight. A bad blind sight is something that is plot specific, that's needed for me to understand the movie in the first place.
Okay.
And there was definitely information which they did not, that they held out for as long as possible, which made the first half of the movie, at least, confusing as shit. Because there's things that you needed to know, and we're going to talk about these in the challenges, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Because we're about to get on the challenges right now.
Oh, I can't wait.
Challenge number one, it was a 2-hour movie, but at midpoint, I was like, fuck my life. This is still on. Like, I literally did this is the first time in a long time. The only other movie I did this on was The Vampire Next Door, where I went and looked at how far we were in the movie because I know where we're at because I saw what was happening. I go, okay, we're at the midpoint. That means we should be in the middle. But damn, how much longer? And I had to like look at the time because
Okay.
so I talked about those surprises.
Okay.
There because you've seen writings that I've done. I do twists and I have surprises, but they're not they're surprises that make you go, oh shit.
Yeah.
They're not, oh, this is a piece of information that I needed for this entire thing to fucking make sense, you know? Like for instance, perfect example, him being in the military, okay? They didn't even tell you that he was ever in the military until Act 3, okay? But at the beginning of the movie, around the Act 1, he's shooting like a military-grade sniper who was in special forces.
Okay.
His father was training him as a child, like 300 level training, you know?
Yes. Okay.
Which is unbelievable, okay?
Why?
You know,
Why? Why is it unbelievable? His father was Army, a colonel.
Look, I'm going to tell you why. I'm glad you fucking asked this.
Okay.
We were both military.
Yes.
To not believe that a child of a military person would have some training in guns or martial arts. That isn't the unbelievable part, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The unbelievable part was how they set this shit up the same way Leonidas was training his son in 300, okay?
Okay.
In Spartan days,
Okay.
fighting to the death, to show no mercy, to become stronger, to fear nothing, to fear no death. That was common practice in that time frame.
Okay.
The world was much more barbaric than in the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Which is where his childhood would have been, was in the 80s.
Okay.
Or even in the 70s. In the 70s, 80s, or even the 90s, or even today, if any father was training their kid like that, Child Protective Services would arrest their ass, okay? There's no father out there who would get by with doing that shit. There's no need for doing that shit.
You do remember he was autistic, right?
Okay, look, look, we're not even talking about that. We're about to talk about that.
And his father did not want him to struggle in life.
No.
As his mother wanted him to take the easy way out and just say, hey, why don't you just go ahead and give him to this guy right here over the summer, and he could see about straightening him out, because she couldn't deal with him.
No.
But because his father was military and disciplined, he chose not to go that route.
Look,
and
you know what I know, that's bullshit, because in real life,
no. But it's
even with a military father and an autistic child,
yeah,
you are not going to get by with training your child the way that Leonidas was trained as a child to be able to survive the woods of Greece, you know?
Right. What happens with child services? The only way child services gets involved, if one, there's a bruise on your kid, or two, it's reported. If it's never reported,
okay, look, like I'm saying it's not fucking believable. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I think it is.
It is not.
I have to disagree with you, sir. I think it is. But okay, go ahead, continue.
You can disagree. But that was it was unnecessary. It's fucking is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have had bruises because, as you notice, he had a busted nose and busted lip. As soon as that kid went to school, especially being an autism child, somebody would have been like, what happened?
He was in karate class, and it's a full contact karate class.
Okay, look, you're missing the point.
I'm just saying.
It was a bullshit plot point, but
you sat there and asked a question, and I answered it, sir.
And I'm telling you, it was a bullshit plot point.
Okay. Okay.
Now, why was he in the military jail? And I'm assuming it was because of the people that he killed. So then you'd have to ask, why was he released from military jail after killing people?
He wasn't. He escaped.
Okay, well, I missed that whole he escaped shit.
Yeah. And the reason why he escaped was because, remember, Jeffrey Tambor's character was training him in as far as forensic accounting and
We're
everything.
about to get onto that.
Yes, but that's why he was there, and that's what happened. He escaped because of what happened, what the mob did to that character, his friend.
So it was a revenge plot, but it was like very confusing to me, and it's probably because I was so fucking annoyed by this point that I was missing fucking any information.
You were, and that's why I don't understand why. You kind of sound like my wife. Sometimes she does not give any movie. If she doesn't like in the first 10, 15 minutes, she'll turn it off.
Look. I'm just telling you my problems, okay?
I got you.
But we didn't know that he was even in the military, which would explain why he was shooting. But even in there, they didn't mention how to use special forces or anything like that. So it's like, not all people are trained to be snipers that can shoot miles away, you know?
Okay, sure.
There are people that are, I mean, we all did like training where like we shot guns and stuff, you know?
Sure.
But certain people get the training to be deadly as a sniper. It's not everybody.
But you do know his father was in psychological warfare. Yes,
It still doesn't. It still doesn't piece together. Still doesn't piece together why you are shooting expert level, sniper level. You know what I'm saying? Like, essentially, he is an accountant who is John Wick. You know.
But I took it to mean, since they actually showed how passive aggressive his karate training was, they just didn't show his sniper training. They didn't show his everything else that was involved that he might have gotten from the military. And that's why I just left it I just left it alone. I sat there and said, okay, so if he received karate training at his father's assistant or
they explained a lot of this in Act 3.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I've already watched 60% of the fucking movie before you decided to tell me how this fucking makes sense. Because I've been to H&R Block. I have been to TurboTax. I have yet to meet John Wick in either of these places.
That doesn't mean they don't exist, my friend.
Look.
I'm just saying.
Look.
I'm just saying. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. He was actually not killing bad guys. He was technically an informant for the Treasury Department because of his accounting background. He's the one who said, hey, because of the accounting that I do for these bad guys, I can tell you, hey, there's a shipment of human beings being that'll be in the...
Yeah, you find that out at the end.
Yes, because it all came together for me.
Because his non-vocal friend is the computer voice.
Because remember, the guy told him, find someone you can trust. If you're going to go down this road that I'm giving you instructions and I'm guiding you on how to do, find someone you can trust and don't make the same mistake I did. Be mobile, hence the trailer. Because they caught him because he stayed in one place. He wasn't mobile like Ben Affleck's character was. So he improved on how he became.
Look, I'm telling you.
You know we're going to review The Accountant too, right? I just want to let you know it's in production.
I don't think there's enough money on this fucking planet to pay me to watch Accountant 2. I'm going to have to officially object Accountant 2. Because if I after watching this and my problems with it, if I have to watch Accountant 2, I'm just gonna be mad. Can we skip Accountant 2? Because
see, this is what happens when you become and don't get me wrong, I do want to become as proficient a screenwriter as you, sir. However, I will not lose that entertainment value of movies. I cannot do that.
We'll do Accountant 2, see if they did it better. But I want to finish the challenge that I had, okay?
Okay, all right. So far, I contradicted your challenges, right?
You didn't.
All right.
You didn't. No.
All right. Next challenge.
You're still there. Okay. The fact that it works for you, that's fine.
Okay.
But anybody who's really looking at it for like a story and following the story, it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Okay.
Drake's motivation just really wasn't real motivation. It was like just to clear his conscience, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that to me could be or could not. Christian's motivations was just to revenge his friend in jail.
Yes. In the beginning, yes.
It's like Ben was trying to be Batman, but this isn't fucking Batman.
Okay.
Okay. They hinted at a romance, and what's funny about it is they fucking they dropped the ball on this shit.
Okay.
Like Dana's character liked him. He saved her.
Sure.
She half-assed made it look like maybe she was going to kiss him.
Sure.
There was absolutely no follow-through whatsoever. And what's funny is they did one of those suspense things where like you typically see in like movies where like where they like extend a scene like and a good one would be like was it Raiders Lost Ark? Did that guy?
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? What's
Harrison Ford?
Yeah, but what's the name of that shit? Like Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Okay.
Where like the door is coming down and it's going for fucking ever, and you're wondering, and you know he's gonna get past the damn door. He has to, or else the movie's over.
Okay.
But they do that to keep you in fucking suspense.
Sure.
They literally did this shit with the door fucking closing. Like you just see his eyeball and they're closing. It's like, so you wasted this suspense moment. Now, if I was doing this, if I was going to go that route of like where I'm slowly shutting the door,
okay,
have him like stop for a second, revisit what he's doing, and maybe come in, you know?
Okay.
But they literally just went, we'll move on. You're like, what?
You do realize, and you do, I think you're forgetting that he was autistic.
I don't give a fuck if he's autistic. And we
didn't even want his mother hugging him, his own mother. He couldn't stand anybody touching him or hugging him. So there are some things as an adult that he probably just can't get over.
Okay. But I don't give a shit if he's autistic. Okay, you like every single plot point here that I have a problem with, you're like, oh, it's because he's autistic. Fuck that. That is not the reason for every other problem.
But that's what they
like. I'm not that. Look, I'm not that person, Jose. The way like everything in the world is great. The movie's automatically great because this character's fucking autistic. That's not me.
I didn't say that. Well,
no, look,
they pretty much
not me, Jose.
That this is how he was when he went to see that.
I'm saying they wasted my motherfucking time for seconds watching a door goddamn close. That's
no, sir. I have to disagree. Because he's autistic.
We are going
to want his own mother to hug him. Look, so he's not a people person.
Look, we are going to disagree, and
of course,
and that's why we do this podcast. You're not always going to agree with me, but what I'm saying though is,
yes,
when you are writing a fucking movie, it's got to make sense to me, because it fucking doesn't matter if it makes sense to you in your head. Does it make sense to me as the viewer?
I'm sure there are some movies that you have seen that didn't make sense to you that grossed over $100 million.
No, because all the movies I say that don't fucking work, they don't make a lot of movie. This one made a lot of movie. That's just because, look, I'm telling you, this is my opinion. They wasted that suspense moment. Okay. They wasted that goddamn suspense moment. I don't need to spend 30 seconds watching your little eyeball through a goddamn door and then you give me no goddamn follow-up, you know?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Do I understand what you're saying? No, but I hear what you're saying.
Look, man, it's got to, it's got to be like I said, the problem to me isn't the story. I mean, there are plot points that I say, hey, look, kind of went a little overboard on this,
Gotcha.
which we've already talked about.
Sure.
I think a lot of it was just where this information was given to me. Like that suspense thing is meant to have a build up.
Okay.
Or something. And it was like being on 4th of July, lighting a wick, right? You're excited for the fireworks to go off, and then it just doesn't go off.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what it did for me. But if the eyeball through the door fucking does it for you, I will go and record me shutting that door for like 30 seconds, put some music to it. I can send it to you.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
if that's all it takes.
Can I pick the song, please?
If that's what keeps my buddy Jose entertained.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to, but I've been watching movies since I was a young kid.
So have I.
And even movies that people didn't like sometimes resonated within me because of something that I might have been going through at the time. And that's why. All in all, a movie for me is, like I mentioned to you way back when we first started, is overall the first thing for me a movie does is entertain me. If it doesn't, okay, then I start with the plot points, then I start with the acts, then I start...
That was the problem. I wasn't entertained enough, so all I could do is rip this thing apart.
I got you.
Because if I'm going to suffer through this, I'm going to rip this place apart.
I think you're the only one that suffered. No, from the both of us.
Okay, yeah, from the both of us, because it doesn't really have high ratings. No.
Really? I didn't even check the ratings.
I did after.
But usually if a movie doesn't have high ratings, they don't make a sequel. And I believe Accountant 2 is in production, if I'm not.
That's just because it made like $100 million, which isn't a lot of money. But look, when Braxton killed Rita, right?
Sure.
Something that didn't make sense because, he's walking down the street, right? And so was Ben Affleck.
Uh-huh.
And then his brother just shoots at Christian out of the blue, right?
Okay.
Which didn't make sense to me because it's like,
Why didn't it make sense?
Because he didn't know that Christian was the accountant because he kept asking about him.
Yes. He just knew somebody was following him too. He didn't see to turn around to who it was. He just knew somebody was following him and just because he's an assassin as well. You know what I mean? So
no. What I'm getting at is like he didn't know that he was really just following. Okay, you just can't just shoot motherfuckers in the middle of the street just because you feel you're being followed.
Okay.
And then the scuffle at the end of the movie was like the reason why the dude was pissed was because he went to see their mom,
Yeah.
And their dad is dead because of it, but he didn't contact them. That's what got you to go through all this bullshit to try to find Christian,
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just, like I said, I just think there were points of this that it didn't make sense to me when I was listening to it, which is why my brain turned off.
I got you.
The life after climax made no sense. I liked the fact she received the painting. That kind of was cool. They were after, like, the Fed was after Christian, the Treasury Department is after Christian, but now they're not, and then they're in front of this committee just talking about something, and then the movie ends. That's my problems with it, man. Like I said, we'll do the Accountant too, but I might have to have a drink beforehand because if it's anything like this, dude, at least let me ease the pain, because this was painful for me, man. It wasn't as painful as The Vampire Next Door,
Okay.
Because that was the most painful movie I've ever seen. Like that shit was like that shit was like this better not be the last movie I see in my life. Because I don't want to carry these memories into the afterlife.
Sure. I'm looking it up as we're speaking about the count too. There is no release date yet, but yeah, it's out there. They're making it, so we'll see what happens.
Hopefully it's better than the first one, because sometimes sequels can be better than the prequels.
Name one.
I don't fucking know, man. I'm just saying that. Look, I'm putting that shit out into the universe and speaking it into existence, Jose. Why are you fucking with my meditation?
Jaws 2 is pretty good.
Why are you fucking with my
Godfather Part 2 was really good compared to the first one. So yeah, I see you. I see your point, sir.
Man. I love our podcast, Jose.
Oh, we have to find another movie that we disagree on, sir.
Look, I love our podcast. I love our business. But you need to stop fucking with my meditation. Allow me to put shit out into the universe and expect good things.
Most definitely, sir. Most definitely.
That don't suck ass to the point that I'm like, fuck. What time is it? It's only the midpoint? God damn.
That will be the accountant too. I'm sure you will like it as much as I will. So we will see.
The people that are going to fucking listen to this podcast and be like, these fuckers are nuts.
I tell you, it's a good thing though. So
well, that's what I like about our podcast. It's colorful. It isn't just like it's a 4, it's a 5, 2 stars, thumbs up. It's like, fuck me.
I'm gonna go with Hells to the Yeah.
I'm gonna go. This is the 8th level of hell.
Okay.
Like, this is right up there with listening to like Barbie Girl, right? Like, if there is an 8th or 9th level of hell, I expect that they played Barbie Girl and the accountant at the same time to maximize torture.
Okay, well, hopefully our next movie that we're going to profile is a lot better for you, sir.
I guess we'll find out.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
It's been a good one, man.
Yes, sir. Always. I like this. I like this one. I like the accountant, so I'm sorry you didn't. But we'll see. Hopefully the accountant 2 will be better.
I'm sure there's going to be a movie that I like that you don't.
Oh, I'm sure.
I
haven't come across it yet.
I just don't know what that movie is going to be because I don't pick out shit.
We will see. We will see. We will.
Okay.
Until next week, my friend.
Absolutely, buddy.
All right.